I'm saying that if we put in some of this quote unquote hard work up front, it's going to make you a monster. You can 10x the number of tunes you can learn.
Mm. A green monster, perhaps.
You can turn into your own tune learning green monster.
Which I would love to be that. Like, I'd love to be the kind of person who can, like, listen to a tune and just start playing it. I know people like that. They're impressive.
Yeah.
There's a first part
Oh,
of a
nice.
tune that I want to learn.
This is a good tune.
Yeah, killer tune. And I've heard it before and I've wanted to learn it for a long time.
I'm involved in the history of this tune.
Oh, tell me about that. What?
It's almost like my name should be on the tune.
I was going to say, is it almost like you wrote the
No,
tune yourself?
no, it's not true at all. This tune was actually written by Micah Babinski. And ironically, the sheet music to this tune is now widely available, I believe, because Micah has just come out with a new tune book.
That matters, Andrew. That
Yeah.
matters.
Shout out to Micah. Micah's a
Mhm.
great guy. You know how when you get to a certain age, you're basically the same age as everyone?
Yeah. Yeah.
But back in the day, Micah was a young guy, and I was a slightly older guy.
Hmm.
And a piping hot summer drummer one year. Stuart Little, Danny Miller, and myself were on the committee that chose the winner of the Piping Hot Summer Drummer tune writing contest.
Mm.
And this is maybe, if it's not the first ever winner of the contest, it's definitely the first like big time winner.
Oh,
Where,
I didn't know that.
yeah, he won the contest with this tune. There were some other great composers from that era as well that I can remember. But he won the tune contest, and then the tune kind of went viral. And this was before
Hmm.
like we really use that term very often. But yeah,
I suspect that's probably the time in which I encountered it because I remember it was like the hot new thing.
yeah,
Everybody around me was playing it. All the best pipers around me, the really good pipers in the couple of bands that I was involved with were playing it.
yeah,
But I wasn't in the know about where it came from, who wrote it. Till just now, I sure didn't know that it won any kind of competition. That doesn't surprise me. Really
yeah.
cool tune.
But by the way, we were chatting with Micah. He came on the Dojo to talk about his new book, and the Green Monster is not. See, this is something I didn't know. It's not him going to the Boston Red Sox baseball stadium.
Wait, don't tell me what it is yet because I didn't know that was even a thing. Why is the Boston Red Sox stadium referred to as the Green Monster?
I think the big green wall in the back of the park, maybe.
Oh,
I might
yeah.
be embarrassing myself. Maybe it's called something different, but the Green Monster. No, nobody.
You hadn't
Bueller?
pronounced it right. Now I do actually remember hearing about that.
The Green Monster. Terrible.
You
Cut
should
that.
stop embarrassing
Yeah,
yourself now,
cut that
Andrew.
from the show immediately. But anyway, it's a great tune. And today, are we talking about what to do if you love a tune, but there's no sheet music for it?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I want
Yeah.
to learn this tune, and I have a hard time learning just by ear. And I've been told by people in other musical circles, well, deal with that, man. Figure it out. Learn how to learn by ear. But sometimes I'm like, look, I could really use a jump start from sheet music.
Yeah.
That's me. Some people aren't that way, but some people are. And I think it's okay. Like, however you get the music in you, I think that's okay.
I would just say the
Mm.
following might interest you, Jim. I think I maybe told you this last week when we were discussing doing this topic, and now we're doing it. But I think that, and I would think that the vast majority of tunes that I know, I learned without sheet music. And I don't know for sure, but I think like a lot of the top players that I know would probably agree. I don't know this
Mm.
for a fact, but like, yeah, we pick up a lot of stuff by ear. I think it's an important skill, and I wonder if always relying on sheet music might be holding people back a little bit.
Yeah, I can imagine that being the case. Yeah. And for me, I do see the value of listening to something too. I do feel like if I was given only a piece of sheet music, I would be like, could I also have a recording, please?
Yeah, that's the irony. The irony is a lot of times you get the sheet music and you're like, what am I supposed to make of this?
Yeah, totally.
And I wonder if it's maybe like a tactile versus audio versus visual learners. I wonder if it's a
Hmm.
learning style thing, maybe, or maybe what we really need is someone to sit down with us and show us how to do it.
Oh,
That piece.
that does feel like the ideal. Yeah. Get
Yeah,
somebody sitting across the table from you, play a bit,
sure.
let you play a bit, etc.
I think that learning a tune by ear is not only something that you're going to occasionally want to do, I think it's a skill that even if it doesn't come naturally to you or you don't feel like it does, I still think it's a skill that's worth looking into. And I have some ideas. This is not a refined thing, but I have some ideas that might help you learn a tune by ear, Jim.
Okay, I'd love to hear them. Though, like knowing that there's now a tune book that contains this tune,
Yeah,
like
Jim, you don't want to do this episode anymore now that
I feel strongly about purchasing the tunes when that's a thing you can do. Like a lot of the tunes we play are traditional tunes, and that's fine. But maybe even arrangements that are particularly good that you really want to learn. If that exists as sheet music somewhere and the person who put it together could benefit from you purchasing it, I just think whenever I can, I would rather buy the tune book because I want the people who are writing amazing tunes to have the ability to keep writing amazing tunes. It's like a way of saying thank you to them for the work that they're doing and the art they're putting out there. So, we should still do this episode, but I'm going to go buy that tune book as soon as we stop talking here. Maybe we could even put like a little image of it here.
I feel like your heart might be bleeding out all over the YouTube screen right now. Like, no, I agree with you. We should buy Micah's book because it's awesome. But here's the other thing I would say is I think hearing someone else play your tune and passing it along and thinking it's cool. That's why I write tunes. I might do a tune book someday just because it seems like a fun thing to do. And I think that's probably why Micah did it too. I do think sales have exceeded his expectations though, if his social media is to be. I think he was saying that on social media, like he's had a whole bunch of sales, which is pretty cool.
So that's good. He deserves it because it's a good tune and he did good work. Though, yeah, I think I see what you mean. Like, I doubt that he's depending upon it for like his main means of income or anything like that.
It's a discussion for a different podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
But the bagpipe world is something where if you start to focus too much on who's going to earn the money from what tunes and copyright this and all that stuff, but the more you focus on that, the less successful you tend to be. I think Micah wrote, for example, this tune is a great tune. I'm pretty sure. We'll have to have him on the
Oh, I'm pretty
podcast.
sure it's a great tune.
But
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he wrote it for love of the game, Jim.
Yeah, I got you. Cool. With that said, here we have a person playing it, and this person, Hannah Frocken, has put out a lot of videos like this that are just like a direct shot of a really good tune being played in a really solid way. And I've used some of her other videos to try to get some competition tunes down when I've been considering them. So speaking of being like grateful to people who put stuff out there are multiple people on the YouTubes that do this kind of thing. They'll learn a tune, they'll play it, and it's like then you have, like now, if I get Micah's book, I've got both worlds here. I've got the sheet music laid out in front of me, and I can listen to somebody playing it competently, and here I can even see fingers. Again, I'm grateful to people who are willing to do stuff like this because it accelerates my musical journey. And especially at a time in life when I feel like I don't have time for it, anything that saves me some time, gets me there a little quicker is very much appreciated.
Yeah. Although, Jim, it's like anything. It saves you time now, but I could learn this tune by ear way faster than you could ever learn it with the video plus the
well, good for
music.
you, Andrew.
But you're saying time savings. I'm saying that if we put in some of this quote unquote hard work up front, it's going to make you a monster. You can 10x the number of tunes you can learn.
A green monster, perhaps.
You can turn into your own tune learning green monster.
Which I would love to be that. Like, I'd love to be the kind of person who can like listen to a tune and just start playing it. I know people like that. They're impressive.
Yeah. Let's just talk about some stuff that you could do.
Yeah.
No one's going to do it, Jim.
Yeah.
You can't lead people that don't want to be led.
Yeah. Or you can lead them, but you can't make them proverbially drink, etc.
That's right. Yeah, you can lead a piper to auditory learning, but you can't make them listen.
Make them listen. There you go.
Something like that. Let's do the first thing that comes to mind for me is on YouTube, you can easily change the speed of recordings now, which is an amazing hack.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that.
So you click on the little gears there, the settings, and you have playback speed. Now, it does sound funky, but once you get used to it, what you'll get, go ahead and press play. What you'll get is Hannah will be playing this much more slowly. Pretty cool, right?
That is cool. And I got to say, Andrew, like already I'm thinking to myself, and maybe I could have to some degree done some of this at full speed, but it's like, maybe I was just assuming that I would never be able to watch fast enough to figure stuff out. But already in that instant, I'm like, oh, I could just about, especially because I'm familiar with this tune, like I've heard it before, I could just about follow along and start figuring this out from watching your fingers.
Yeah.
That's a great hack.
Yep. So changing speeds is pretty good. And then you could also get fancy in some cases. If you could get like an MP3 file of this, you might even be able to change the pitch of it.
Oh, yeah. And then
and-
make it match my practice chanter or something like that.
Yeah, and those can be really handy skills. That
Mm.
was what I did when I was a kid. So we had the George Boyd snake style electronic bagpipe. It was an incredible invention, and my dad hopped right on that. We actually knew George Boyd,
Mm.
and I met him a few times.
I thought you were going to say, and I invented his bagpipes.
No, I did a workshop with him once where I was the test subject, and he wanted me to play Scott and the Brave, and then he showed, and this was back way before. This was like, this guy was amazing, and he showed the MIDI map of my finger
very
work on the
cool.
screen, and it was really cool. But anyway, the cool thing about the George Boyd pipes is it had a little knob on it. So you could tune the pipes to any recording. And I used to just spend tons of time horsing around trying to play tunes. But getting your equipment to match the recording is a really cool thing. If you can figure out a way to do that, that's a really cool thing as well. It'll make it fun to kind of horse around and see what you can get.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, there's nothing more fun than getting my guitar out and horsing around with songs that I like to see if I can play along with the songs. And it probably comes from years of doing that on the pipes when I was a kid as well. But the electronic chanter is what made it really possible to start to play along with some of these recordings.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that could be pretty good, Jim. So just a couple of tips to get you started. And you could do that. Almost every software I know of now makes it quite reasonable to slow things up, speed things down, and speed things down.
Did you do that on purpose? Because
I don't know.
It's kind of
Slow
classy.
things up, speed. I think I'm just going crazy, Jim. And then you could also change the pitch. Audacity is a free software that you can use to take a recording of something and do that stuff. So you can do all that. And I really advocate for messing around with that stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
And it gets you warmed up to the idea that, oh, you can just do stuff if you want to and just sit down and try and figure it out.
And to exactly that end, one of the little notes I took under this possible episode topic when we talked about it before is like, maybe we should bring up the fact that like a lot of times you can get the tunes, especially if a person is still alive who wrote it, and maybe you ought to pay money for it, and that's okay. And your suggestion was like, also, you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's an important skill to learn, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay. Not ready for the next topic?
Yeah.
Now the next topic would be fast forwarding. This is not how I actually did it when I was a kid. But now that I've been teaching bagpipes for 20 years, I've come to the realization, and we've talked about it at a really long length over the years we've been together, Jim, that one of the ways you could learn a tune by ear and you could get good at it is by applying the bagpipe freedom process.
Of course.
To listening to tunes. And just hear me out. Folks, if you're out there, I get it. This is about to become lame. I got it. But hear me out here. If we could take this tune and if we could start at the base of the pyramid, which would be the rhythmic makeup of this tune. All right. If we could start at the bottom and we could start to ascertain some stuff about the rhythm of this tune, it's going to help us decipher how we might actually play it by ear. The first thing we're going to evaluate by ear is going to be the rhythm of the tune. Okay.
I'm so glad you went there, Andrew, because that's the first question I have. Because as I'm listening to it, I've got 3 viable options in my head for time signature here. And I'm like, I don't know which one this is.
And we wouldn't be worried so much about the time signature. I would be thinking more about the groove. Okay. So go ahead, play it. And by the way, I like the 65% speed. It gives us
Okay, we'll keep it there.
It gives us a chance to think about how it's made up. So let's listen to it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so pause it there. The first question I might ask is this tune like a march where we're using lots of dots and cuts? Or is it like a jig or a round hornpipe or something where all the notes are even?
I feel like it's more like the latter, but I feel like it could be confusing because the pulse is so strong on those E's.
Could be.
And that gives it a swingy feel. But then when it goes into the other part, they're...
Those are all those notes are all the same length.
Right. And so that makes me think, yeah, maybe this is more dance form and less swingy, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, don't worry so much about the dance. My point is, if we were imagining some sheet music, there wouldn't be that many dots and cuts on that.
Yeah.
it's going to be all even notes. Now, is this like a jig where those even notes come in groups of 3? Or is it a hornpipe where those even notes come in groups of 4? And I'm not talking about every single group. I'm just talking about generally speaking.
I'm thinking 4s.
How
1,
do
2,
you
3,
how do
4,
you
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think
I love
4s.
it. Yeah. I would go 1 E and a 2 E and a 1
sure.
E and a 2 E and a. But then we were talking about time signature just a minute ago there. And when you have groups of 1 E and a 2 E and a, what time signature is that?
It's got to have 8s in it.
Excuse me?
It's got a number 8 in it, probably.
No.
You don't think
No,
so?
it
I was thinking maybe it did.
No, tunes that come in groups of 4 like that. And again, don't worry too much about the time signature, but yeah, we're going to be in 2/4 time.
There you go.
That's 2 quarter notes per bar, and
2
each
times 4 is 8. That's what I meant, Andrew. I was right.
Yeah, I got you. But it's going to be in 2/4 time because we have 2 quarter notes per bar, and those quarter notes are divided in nice, easy 4-piece. There's 4 pieces of pizza inside of each beat, and there's basically 2 beats per bar. Audience, if you're out there, let's listen to this again, and go ahead. You can count 1 E and a 2 E and a throughout the duration of the first part.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jim.
Count it. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2
Love
E
it.
and a.
It's probably not going to be. It's probably not going to be synchronized at all, and you're going to have
That's true.
a nightmare editing.
Yeah.
But Jim, you did a great job there. Good job, buddy. You
Thanks.
did 1 E and a 2 E and a, and it just fits over the tune, right?
Yeah.
And so when we start thinking about this tune, if you wanted to, you could go to a piece of staff paper and you could start to write out the rhythms. But even just generally being aware of that shape, 1 E and a 2 E and a, everything in the tune is going to fit in that. Now, the other thing that you did there, which was really cool, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but you were also singing some of the melody on top of it.
Well, I can't help it. It's a catchy melody. It gets right in you, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that's the whole point, right? So we're going to listen to this a whole bunch, and maybe we can start thinking about the rhythm. But if you simplify it like that and you just think about the rhythm, you might be surprised how you just start automatically learning the tune, right? And thinking about the pitches and how it goes, right? And then you sang it yourself. You went 1 E and a 2 E and a. So you went 1 E and a. Right now,
this is already telling me where the notes would move, isn't it?
If you can get to that point, and Jim, you've been aware of this tune for a long time.
Yes, I've been hearing since
you're at an advantage. Like, this might not be realistically what's going to happen every time.
Yeah.
But if I ask you the question, what notes are those? You might not know. But if I ask you the question, which direction are those notes going?
Down, easy. Do.
Yeah, exactly. So the first 3 notes, you're going to start with a note somewhere, and then it's going to go down, and it's going to go down, and you can sort of like picture that, right? Right now we have a visual thing here. We have Hannah actually playing it, so it would be easy to figure out what notes she's playing. If you take that YouTube video and you go down really slow, you'll be able to actually physically see her fingers, and that's legal. You could do that, but you could do it without that too. You could do it without that too, with just some trial and error, right? You could start on the note F and then go down and down a little bit and just be like, that doesn't seem right. And you would eventually probably stumble on what the notes would be.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I'm assuming this is a pretty universal experience where when you are trying to figure something out, you sit down with your practice channel, you figure out is that a big step or a small step? And then you go, that must not start on E. It must start on F. Nope, not F. Maybe D? Nope, not D. Is it C? It's C. You can find it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, the first time you do that, it takes you a long time to figure out. The second time you do it, it takes you a long time to figure out, but maybe ever so slightly less. And then the third time you do it, it's less. And the fourth time you do it, it's less. And then if you've done it like 100 times, you start to be able to ascertain what these notes are actually quite quickly, right? So you will develop the skill surprisingly quickly if it's just something that you take an interest on.
I feel like a lot of things, the advice there is, if you want to get good at the thing, you got to do the thing.
Yeah, just do the thing.
Yeah.
And it helps if you're honestly having fun while you do it.
Yeah, if it's a tune that you like, you're going to have fun. It's going to be exciting. Every little breakthrough it's been exciting for me already this morning.
It reminds me of that scene from October Sky. You ever
love
seen
that movie? What a great movie. Yeah.
We watched it with the kids last night. It's a classic. My son is going to be an astronaut for Halloween. So but it was like, man, October Sky is a great movie. Oh, but it reminds me of when the teacher gives him the book and she's like, well, the math is going to be like way more difficult than you can do. And then his response is just immediately like, no, I'll learn the math.
Yeah, because he's so enthusiastic about
Right.
what they're doing.
He's so enthusiastic about what he's doing that
Yeah.
the super complicated, like university level math is just, nah, I'll learn it. I
Yeah.
got this. No, that's not going to be a problem.
Mm.
And I feel figuring out the actual notes of the tune, if you're actually really enthusiastic about the tune and you're excited about the project of trying to figure it out on your own, man, it's going to be so good for your piping if you could do this.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, you already started singing along as you were doing the rhythm, and that's cool, but don't ignore that. That's a pretty big step. And it's interesting that by
Gold star for me.
focusing, but what's interesting is by focusing on something simple and small, like the rhythm, your brain starts to fill in other gaps automatically on its own.
Yeah.
So break the problem down into something that you know you can do and work from there. Don't try and do it all at once, or don't come to the conclusion that, oh, this tune is really fast. We know how to break that down. Just use the slider on the YouTube. Makes it slower. And then it's, oh, this tune is really complicated and there's lots of embellishments. Okay, but the basic rhythm of the tune is really straightforward. 1 E and a 2 E and a. That's it. And then you're like, I can't play the tune yet by ear, but I could sing, or I could say the groove on top of the tune. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1. And then before you know it, you're doing what Jim was doing. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1. And you might not be singing the exact tune, but you're approximating the tune just naturally as you do it. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. And by the way, some of those notes, we know what they are. Like, you know what a low A sounds like.
Yeah, when you hear a burl, that's a great clue, right?
Yeah.
That is definitely a low A. Maybe I was unsure until then if it was a G or a B, but I hear that burl, I'm like 99.9% sure now that's a low A. And then you can map from there, huh?
Yeah, you absolutely could. Yep.
I feel like you're like teaching me a life lesson here, Andrew, because like I wasn't expecting the kind of magic that genuinely occurred just now, where once like until we started breaking it down to the rhythm, it just the whole project felt opaque to me. That's a cool tune. And I think from that point, even when I think to myself, that's a cool tune, maybe this is baggage I carry in my own head. Paired with that's a cool tune is therefore it's difficult, so I won't be able to figure it out. Those two things go together in my head.
Yeah.
But it's true that once you started breaking down the rhythm and groove of it, it's like the next step appeared out of nowhere. That was almost like magic. And so the life lesson here feels like it's something like, don't think about the entire journey. Don't think about the whole project. Think about the first step. What's the first little thing that you can handle? Break it down. And then the next thing will present itself or maybe make more sense from there.
Absolutely. It reminds me of what seems like a fact, which is that children learn faster than adults.
It does seem that way, yeah.
It seems like a fact, but man, when I get excited about something, I learn stuff like way faster than my kids can learn it.
Stephanie Burns, who's written a few bagpipe and drumming books, she wrote about that.
I'm sort of joking, but I'm sort of not. If I want to learn a new tune, I'm learning that like way faster than my younger self would have learned it. Like way faster. If I'm actually interested. And if I'm not interested, I won't. But anyway, but my original thinking here, the reason I brought this up is that I think children expect to have to break things down, and they expect to not be good at things when they first try them. And they're also used to trying all sorts of new things all the time because they're right. And they don't feel the social pressure to somehow be able to do something magically. They don't feel that same pressure that we would feel. And I think that's why they learn so damn fast.
That makes a lot of sense. And I just can imagine myself. I felt this way before. I get this sense of, that seems hard. I'm tired.
Kids get that too.
All that kind of stuff.
Kids get that too.
Yeah, you're right. They do those little fits, don't they?
Yep. However, if it's something that they're really interested in, they just do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing too. Kids have probably more time and space to just singularly focus on things that are really interesting to them. Maybe, hopefully, maybe adults have less of that.
Yeah. Though I feel like I see it. I need to learn this lesson better, but I see it in the way that we just barely did this, breaking it down to one step. Like sometimes I will go weeks and weeks without doing a project, whether it's a thing that I'm excited about or just a thing that I have to do. And then when I finally say, I got to at least make some progress on this and sit down and do the first step, it's 5-10 minutes and I'm done with it. Or I made huge leaps with it. And it's like I built up too much in my head how difficult this is going to be or how long it's going to take.
we're also addicted to the knowledge and utilizing the knowledge that someone will just give us the answer if we
Hmm.
ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
People say that all the time. It's like, oh, I don't do the dojo because I take private lessons. And it's like, I got it, but the fact that you take private lessons might be contributing to your lack of progress. And I mean that in the following sense, not in the sense that private lessons are bad. No.
Yeah, that's an
Private
interesting take. Yeah, I mean, you
private
probably
lessons
better
are
explain
great.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to explain myself. Private
Yeah.
lessons are great, everybody. Don't stop taking your
Yeah.
private lessons. However, let's say you have a private lesson with a teacher every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Okay. And the teacher's great. This is great. But let's say it's like Friday and it's 12 days until your next private lesson. And no matter what you do, you just can't get your pipes in tune. Right? What are you going to think to yourself?
I'll just wait till my lesson.
And just wait till my lesson.
Yeah.
Right? And my teacher will sort it out for me. And what happens when you get to the lesson?
They do sort it out for you.
Yeah. Now, I feel like a great teacher, and there's many of them out there, a great teacher will not just tune you when you show up to your lesson and will instead expect that you've practiced doing it on your own and being able to do it on your own. But yeah, so often, yeah, that's all you have to do is just go to your lesson and get a couple tips on tuning. And that would satisfy you, right? It's like you go to the lesson and yeah, maybe they help you with your tuning and you can get it in the lesson. But I guess what I mean is like an afternoon at the Green Monster is a perfect example in the sense that I'm not actually gonna focus that hard on trying to learn this by ear because I just learned that I can go buy the book. So I'll do that.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing. I feel like doing something novel on your own. That's the thing. That's the spark that makes the impossible something quite doable.
I see wisdom in what you're saying, Andrew, because like
It didn't come out right. It didn't come
No,
out.
it makes
People are going to
sense.
be like
Yeah.
the title of this episode, or I could see it on pipes, drums tomorrow. Andrew condemns private
Yeah.
lessons.
I'm gonna
No,
send
that's
a
not what
quick-
I'm saying.
I'm gonna send a quick note to Camille right now and tell her to just extract the part where you say
Yeah.
that private lessons are bad, and that's
Private
gonna be the
lessons are
social media
bad.
post.
Yeah. Private lessons are really bad. No, private lessons are great. However, they can, let's see. If done wrong, I'm trying to think of a Mr. Miyagi quote or something, but it can be something where you end up just resting on the knowledge that your lesson is coming up instead of just taking out the shovel and digging a little bit into it yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't want to like make it seem like learning is akin to recovering from an injury, but it does bring to mind like the idea of like progressively, if you break your foot or something, right? You're progressively maybe moved from having a cart so that your weight is entirely off the foot to having a boot in combination with crutches, to having just a boot, to having just a wrap, etc. If you broke your foot and then just stayed on the cart forever, like the goal is to get rid of the cart, to get rid of the crutches,
Yeah.
not to use crutches forever.
And the reason why, in your example, where the analogy breaks down is like the reason why you would want that in the case of breaking your leg is you'd like to be able to walk in the remaining years of your life. And so you have to get over that injury. In this case, it's different. It's like you have a sense that something might be possible and it can like bust open. It can bust open like a huge new dimension of possibility if you can figure out how to decipher tunes by ear, right?
Yeah, it is exciting. It's a skill I want to have, but I don't feel like I have. And so it is
Yeah,
exciting. But exactly, it's like it feels daunting at the same time. And so you're right. As soon as I found out that there's a tune book out now, I did think to myself like, oh, all right then. I'll just buy the tune book.
Yes, exactly. Where I think you should buy the tune book, but learn this tune by ear first and then make buying the tune book your reward.
Okay, I'll do that. That's a good idea. And maybe I'll even write out what I think it is and compare it to what's in the tune book. That could be fun.
So we got some of the rhythms down
Mm-hmm.
and you've been accidentally singing the melody of the tune a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really it. By singing it, that's really good. If we could get a mental model of the tune or the part of the tune in our minds, I think that's the key. Because then we can just start experimenting on the practice chanter. Okay. And then if it matches the mental model, great. And if it doesn't, then we know it doesn't. And so we know to try something else.
Yeah, and if I may, tell me if I'm wrong to say this out loud, Andrew, but not only the mental model, but in this case where I've got this recording of Hannah playing it, I could try it out by myself for a minute, and then I could go back and listen and be like, how did that match up? Maybe even play along with it if it's close enough in tuning or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
Mental model and other models, I guess is what I'm saying, if they're available to me.
Yeah. And that it's legal to use visual cues if you want, but I would encourage you to not and to see if you can get it by ear. because
Oh, so if I was using this recording, maybe try just listening and not watching her fingers so closely, even though that
correct
is an available option to me here. Maybe try to not do that.
Yep, exactly. If you just watch the fingers, it'd be fairly easy to map out what her fingers are doing on top of the groove that we're talking about. It would get you pretty close.
Yeah.
1 and a 2 E and a 1 and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a yeah. What are those notes at the end of the first line? What are the notes? What's that note that's being played?
Is it when it goes do?
Now there's some little notes in there, but what's that main note that keeps coming at you?
I feel confident that it's hanging on D, hanging out on D.
Yeah. Now, how did you know that? I don't know. Like trial and error, maybe?
Yeah.
But then if that note is a D, then what is the note at the beginning of the tune?
It's so close to it that I think it's got to be C or C sharp, but it's got to be.
No, I'm talking about the note at the beginning of the next line.
Oh, I was thinking of that. I see. I was thinking of that part specifically.
Yep. But even what you said about the little C would be there as well. So, that seems like low-hanging fruit as well, Jim.
So I could start getting, if I was writing this down, I could start getting the patches that make sense.
But don't write it down. Don't write it down, though. Just play it. So
we're trying to get away from writing it down. I see.
Yeah, like we can. And by the way, writing it down, it reminds me of looking at the notes. It's absolutely legal. And a lot of us are tactile, visual types. And so maybe writing it down might be cool. But for me, I would be taking that fourth bar and I would be like, those sound like D's to me. And then it just dips down below the D a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, my microphone is notoriously doesn't pick up the chanter that well. But
yeah, let's see how this goes.
By the way, full disclosure, I already know the tune.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, but yeah. Something like that.
I feel like that part made sense to me, but I'll admit to you, the higher note where it goes do. Yeah, I keep looking around for a practice chanter. In my head, I think maybe that's an F, maybe it's a G. I'm not sure.
So let's try. But we've got the other notes like sounding the way we want.
Mm-hmm.
So we can, and then we know it jumps up above, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's that sound?
I see. That's not it.
Bad.
So we could try it, but that could be a different tune. That could be a variation, but that's not what I was hearing before.
It's not. And then is the high note not high enough?
Not high enough, right?
Exactly. So maybe I do. That sounds right to me, Jim.
Yeah,
I think I'm right.
Sounded pretty good, yeah.
It's actually not right.
Oh, really?
We'll
see, you convinced me.
But it's okay, though. Here's the other thing. It's not right. That's okay.
Huh.
Like, it'll come out in the wash eventually. That's not actually correct.
Yeah.
But as the time goes by, my point is that's like low-hanging fruit. So that phrase is like, okay, I think I got that. By the way, other low-hanging fruit is in the third part where it has all those repetitive rhythms. That's the real hook of the tune.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I just found some low-hanging fruit. By the way, the other low-hanging fruit, I've heard lots of tunes with this kind of ending. That's how the tune ends.
Yeah.
And so on. We can put the pieces together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll end up with dee da un dee un da ga da. So I want to illustrate a point here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Okay. How am I doing there?
Pretty darn good.
Yeah,
that sounded really close.
I'm doing great. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have some wrong notes in there. You ever seen someone that as soon as they hit a wrong note, they just freeze up and panic and they've decided their life is over and that they're worthless and that
seen someone do it, Andrew. I live it.
Yeah, exactly. That's by the way, that tune is like 96% of the way there. And there are some things that aren't quite right.
Yeah.
But you've still learned it 95% of the way there.
I mean, I would have recognized that. If you were playing that, I would have been like, oh, that's that Afternoon at the Green Monster tune.
And you would recognize it and you would say to yourself, like, I'm not sure he's got all the notes, but you would definitely recognize the tune.
Yeah.
So don't discount that when you're trying something. If you don't have everything correct, that's fine. Get the shape of it correct. And then we might pick up a clue. So now let's say we've gotten the tune learned that far, right? And then let's go ahead and play this YouTube video of Hannah one more time.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, pause it.
It's
Is it
a
just
high
me?
A.
Or well, is it just me, or does it look like she's playing a high G there?
Well, see, I thought it was a G.
It is a high G.
Oh, it is. I thought she just played a high A.
Yeah, she did. And when I played my incorrect version, I was playing high A's as well. The thing that I got wrong, or the thing that wasn't actually like the real tune, was where the high G's are, I was accidentally playing F's.
Yes, and see, I was thinking ahead to that part.
But that's okay. It doesn't matter. But I'm watching this thing, okay, and I'm used to now, I've learned this tune by ear, give or take, and I've put F's in instead of high G's. But now I'm watching Hannah play this. Sounds great. And I think I just saw her play a high G there. I'm not playing any high G's in what I'm doing. Can we play it again? Weird. High G's. Yeah, keep going. Oh, there's even more high G's in there. Okay, nice. Exactly. So it's like, wait a minute. Those are high G's maybe. Okay, so now I can try my tune again. Oh, Eureka!
Yeah.
Aha, I figured it out, Jim.
And I can see already, like, at that point, you're really just figuring out one little change to make. The rest of it, you've already locked in. And so it's not that hard to hone it from that point.
Exactly. It's really just trial and error. And I think the other key thing is like taking a genuine interest in the tune.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine that this exercise does not work as well if it's a tune that you are not interested in learning. It just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. And going back to the treacherous part of this conversation, right? If you know that there's sheet music to the tune right over there and all you have to do is look it up, that's great. Okay, that's a great technology, but is it also popping the balloon of creativity? If you know the answers are right over there, then what is the incentive to learn to figure it out on your own?
Yeah, and maybe not all of us become tunesmiths. Maybe we don't all end up writing a tune someday or a harmony or something like that. But I can imagine that going through this kind of exercise would open up almost anybody's like mind or ideas to how tunes are made. And therefore, if you've got tunes in you, like it preps you to write them.
Yep. At this point, I've written a lot of tunes that people like with harmonies, and I've done a little bit of composing and so on. And by the way, I think Afternoon at the Green Monster, I'm sure the same is true for Micah, right? He had the idea to write this tune based on some of his observations and things that he discovered about bagpipe music, right? That's how you're able to compose tunes. And it's not, I'll get deep here. I think that the reason we want to play the bagpipes is not because bagpipes are cool. It might be a sub reason, but the real reason is that it's a tool that has infinite creative potential in various ways, by the way, not just musically, but also like aesthetically. I think a lot of people are into the aesthetics of it. I think people are into the lore of it and the history of it. And that's all creativity, right? The more you dig into it, the more cool ideas you could have.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
I have a friend that I've known named Tiber Falzette, who was an excellent bagpiper, but it also was the gateway for him, I think. I'm probably putting words into his mouth, but also seemed to be a huge gateway for him to like study and go all in and learning about Gaelic culture, and to the point where I think he's now like fluent in the Gaelic language and all sorts of awesome stuff. So it's like, I think the real reason we do any of this stuff is for the creative potential. And I think humans are creative beings. I wonder if we're in a phase, I'm just waxing poetical. I wonder if we're in a phase in bagpiping right now where creativity is like, and I guess what I mean by piping is more like pipe bands and solo piping, maybe. I don't know. We're just in a ever so slight rut in the creativity realm, which, by the way, is not a bad thing. We might be in a rut in the creativity realm, but we also probably not coincidentally have bands have like way more bands that are producing way more incredible sound and clarity of technique, right? So these things are always going to wax and wane.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think like those creative elements and pushing forward, that's like the secret sauce. And by the way, improving your technique is also a creative exercise. And making the unison better is also a creative exercise. And getting a better tone out of your band is also a creative exercise. But then, all the other creative stuff too, it comes from what you said, Jim, which is digging in and actually like learning and feeling what these tunes are all about, I think. Or not. Maybe.
Like, I was thinking to myself, like, this is an excellent way to end the episode. And then you said, or not. And I know that actually is an excellent way to end the episode.
I mean,
like
not, or maybe partially in between, or
maybe even start the fade to black and then just come back to full color, or not, and then drop to black completely.
That seemed like a good way to end the exercise. But then you also have to just understand the crippling sense of insecurity and guilt and so on that we all feel about all of our work as artists, don't we?
Yeah,
God.
I'd like to think that's not just me.
Yeah, it's crap. It's not any good.
Yeah,
I suck. There's always going to be a little bit of that going on.
Yeah, I do an exercise that I started doing it because of when I was dating my wife when we were younger. And I was like in this constant like mental anguish over, does she like me or doesn't she? Have I messed up? If I call and ask her on a date again, is she going to be tired of it? That kind of thing.
By the way, this is a great analogy, I think.
I feel like it fits because I eventually reached a point where I was like, all right, look, I can't live in this space of mental anguish forever. And the simple fact of the matter is that I like her. And so I'm going to just assume that she feels about me the way that I feel about her until she tells me otherwise. And we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
And it went pretty well. And so I try really hard. I don't make my living as a creative or anything like that. But anytime I do put something out into the world, of course, I think this is crap. This is stupid. Nobody, like people are just pitying me when they say that they like my thing. And I get in that kind of mental anguish space and I go, I can't function like this. I don't feel that way about other artists. I'm going to assume that my friends who are artists feel about me the way I feel about them. I'm going to put it out there. And maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm wrong, I'm living a happier life as a result. So that's okay.
As much as I'm reluctant to like Taylor Swift, just because she's so successful, and I feel
I know what you mean.
I feel like a genuine distaste for people who have far surpassed anything I'll ever do, probably. But I do feel the reluctance. But yeah, she said something great recently about her new album, where people are like, "Man, a lot of people don't like your new album," and all this stuff, and a lot of people are saying bad stuff about it. And she had a great response, something along the lines of, "Hey, in the week that you release your album, the metric is the number of people who are talking about it and who are affected by it, and positive versus negative, that's out of my control." And she's right. It's really annoying. She's right.
It's so annoying that she's so right.
Yeah. And it's funny you should mention dating because, I've totally had those episodes, especially when you meet the one. That's when it was the worst.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you care a lot more than you would otherwise.
And you're like so invested in it. And then, yes, you're right. I came to a similar epiphany, which is like I was holding on too tight to like trying to figure out whether or not it's going to like work out the exact way you want it. But it's like really all you can do is focus on what's in your control. And that would be something along the lines of doing your honest best to be your own authentic self. And hopefully that's going to work. And if it doesn't work, like the alternative would be way worse.
Yeah.
Which is for you to become someone artificial and not authentic.
Right.
In order to try to orchestrate a certain result.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting, Jim. There you go. And so how does this tie into the conversation? I feel like we've gone on a tangent, and
we'll figure that out eventually.
Yeah. I guess my point is bagpiping is a creative exercise, and that creativity is the secret sauce. Even if it doesn't seem like it. It's tempting to say, oh, at the Glenfiddich, they're just playing twice through the MSR, and it's all so boring. It's always the same. And you get that. You get that with P-Brock too. It's like P-Brock's boring and it's conformist. And I get it. It's always tempting to dip your toe in the pool of pessimism. But really, no, those are incredible feats of creativity. And yeah, those are definitely steeped heavily in traditional elements. But there's a ton of creativity being applied there. And that's cool. And then where does that come from? And I'm not sure it comes from just trying to find the sheet music every time you want to learn a new tune. I think trying to figure it out by ear when the sheet music is not available is going to be a key thing. And I encourage everyone to do it. And that should be the end of the episode, Jim.
Deal.
Or not.
Hey everybody, Andrew Douglas here from the Piper's Dojo, and I just want to say thanks so much for listening to today's iteration of the podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard here today, it would be super helpful to us and to a lot of bagpipers out there trying to find us. If you could give us a top-notch review on whatever platform you're using to listen to this podcast, particularly Apple, iTunes, and Spotify and things like that, your review would be really, really helpful. So if you have a moment today, definitely go over there and help us out. Other than that, until we meet again on the podcast or somewhere else, thanks again for listening.